After a dump, you always want to make sure there's a pump. But enough about me, let's talk about Bitcoin. Bitcoin and so many of these altcoins have set new all-time highs within the last 24 hours, but now we're starting to see a little bit of a pullback. But will Bitcoin still hit our long-term macro target here, or in fact will it not? And Ethereum has been performing exactly as we thought it would. However, the big question that we will know the answer to before this month ends is how high will the real breakout bust us to once we actually shatter this pattern? And I'm going to tell you when I think it is most likely that we will shatter this pattern. And will we see $100,000 Bitcoin by April of this year? This chart says skippity-doo-dah. Welcome back, everyone. I'm your host, Michael Milk-A-Lot, and we have a lot to be covering in this video. As I'm recording, we're getting a little bit of a retracement, and we're going to be addressing some very key questions you might be wondering about not only Bitcoin, not only Ethereum, but some of these top alts as well. So definitely big stuff. And as well, guys, we have a special giveaway that we're going to be talking about towards the end of this video as well, so make sure to stay tuned for that because the rules are a little different. And golly gee, the prize is a little bit different as well. Wow, so if you guys love pumpers and dumpers, make sure to hit that like, make sure to subscribe, make sure to turn on those post notifications so you get updated when we post these absolute pump and dump episodes immediately, because there's time-sensitive critical information inside. And without any further skiddly-diddly-doo, let's jump in. Milk lemonade, if you drink my milk, you better be afraid, guys. So if we start off here on this weekly chart for Bitcoin, now we're in some very critical territory because we have in roughly exactly 24 hours from when I'm recording this, another weekly close coming for Bitcoin, and we're in a very peculiar spot. If we take a look here, you can see we obviously had a very big breakout last week, and that breakout absolutely continued this week. However, now we're kind of in the teeter-totter zone between our next big level of roughly about 60,000 US dollars, but we have not really had a major backtest of about 42,000 US dollars as major support. So a lot of questions, I'm sure, up in the air. One key thing that I'm excited about as well, though, is that our 21-week moving average will be getting another leg up once we get this weekly open in roughly about 24 hours. And as I'm recording this video, Bitcoin is actually consolidating quite a bit from this morning. Earlier this morning, Bitcoin was about 57,550 US dollars. Currently, it's about almost $1,500 lower than that. So we're in a little bit of a dippage situation, but interestingly enough as well, Ethereum is absolutely in a pretty substantial dippage alert as well. So we're going to be talking about that, and we're going to be talking about specifically what I think is going to be happening with Ethereum, because exactly as we talked about, something happened with Ethereum over the last 24 hours, and yeah, I just have a lot of things I want to share about that. We had a lot of new altcoins actually rally to all-time highs, right? Chainlink hit another new all-time high. Cardano hit another new all-time high. So again, a lot of these top alts are performing really well. Ethereum hit a new all-time high within the last 24 hours, and so did Bitcoin. So quite a bit of new all-time highs in the last 24 hours. But now we are seeing some sort of a pullback. So if we just start here on the 1 hour chart for Bitcoin, in the very, very short term, what's happening right now is Bitcoin is actually currently below one of our first very substantial, very critical moving averages on this 1 hour chart, the 21 moving average. Staying above 56.2 is critical for Bitcoin to maintain short-term momentum. And as you can see, we're actually dipping below that as I'm recording this. We actually had many, many bounces on this exact line within the last 24 hours. And both times we were able to set new all-time highs after basically bouncing here. If we go to the 4 hour chart though, another key thing that's happened is we're right now testing this level of Fibonacci support for support, this $56,000 area. So after Bitcoin had a little fake out, or had a little pump, then we had that little bit of a pullback, and then initiated the true breakout all the way up to our true breakout target, and even a little bit above that around 57,500. It's looking pretty good for Bitcoin. Ultimately, I think the rest of this weekend could be seen with more of a little bit of a pullback for not just Bitcoin, but maybe some of these alts as well, as we have to remember, a lot of these alts are still setting new all-time highs within the last 24 hours. So it's not like they're not doing anything. They're also pumping alongside Bitcoin in many respects. So the first substantial pullback area I think we need to be watching for to see if this is going to turn into more of a substantial pullback, because if we don't even come down to this level, then we're going to be breaking new all-time highs, I think, and I think we're going to be heading up to our next target on this midterm macro outlook, which is about 60,000 US dollars. So basically what I'm saying is if we cannot even get a daily candle close below this level that I'm going to be talking about, then I think within the next 48 hours, we are going to be heading up to this next key level of about 60,000. But that key level that we really need to hold is right about 52,000 US dollars per Bitcoin. And as long as we don't get any daily closes below roughly about $52,000 per Bitcoin, then I think Bitcoin has a very, very, very real chance of hitting $60,000 this upcoming week in the very short term, within the next few days. The entire month of February has been marked by one thing and one thing only. It is that we've gotten wicks down into this EMA ribbon a little bit, but we have not had a single daily close below the very first level of this EMA ribbon. And as most recently as literally just yesterday, the 19th, the same exact thing happened. We had a little bit of a drop, but we bounced exactly at this first EMA ribbon, and we had a very, very strong pump. Immediately after that, you see we had many tests along this top level of this EMA ribbon here. And we have a lot of wiggle room at this point. We're at 56,000 as I'm recording this. Bitcoin could drop a few thousand more dollars, and it would still be, very likely in the short term that we could still hit $60,000 within the next 2 days. So nothing to worry about there. Again, as I'm recording this, we just broke 56, so it'll be interesting to see how fast this momentum swings. And again, we're going to be getting a daily candle close soon as well. You can see this daily candle so far has been kind of underwhelming. We did set a new all-time high, and you can see that here, but the price action has really just been fluctuating in about a $2,000 range. And it'll be very telling to see how this closes in roughly about an hour and a half as I'm recording this video. So by the time you see this video, it'll probably be minutes away from a daily close, and that'll be very telling. So in the very short term for Bitcoin, holding above 54.5 is going to be key. If this drop that we're currently in the middle of just basically doesn't go anywhere below 54.5, then I wouldn't even really consider this much of a drop at all. But that's the key level I'm looking for in the very, very short term. In terms of a daily close, anything above like 52,000, so we have a little more wiggle room in terms of a daily close. But again, we're still so high up here. Clearly, that's evident by the fact that we're setting new all-time highs almost every single day. So again, being bearish on Bitcoin at this point, you would have been getting absolutely stomped and crunched on. So yeah, really no reason to be bearish on Bitcoin. Could we see more of a pullback here? Absolutely, because we're so incredibly overextended on some of these very long time frames, but we're allowed to be overextended when Bitcoin is incredibly bullish like it is right now. And now Ethereum, a lot of people are wondering about this. This is a very key moment. This 21 moving average on this 4-hour chart is what we're testing right now. This is very pivotal for Ethereum's price. If we go to the daily chart as well, let's take a look and see what happened, right? We had a new all-time high of about $20,041, but now you can see this is a pretty big wick here, so it's showing a pretty decent rejection. So one of the things we have to watch for over the next few days, if we're unable to hold some of these shorter term moving averages, specifically, holding 1900 is a very key one, and also holding exactly where we are now, even on this 4-hour chart, because on the 1-hour chart, we have breached some very critical levels. You can see that here. We've breached through the EMA ribbon. We've breached through the 21 and 50 moving averages here on this hourly chart. So again, we're going to see some more short-term dumpage, most likely, over the next few hours. But the next big thing to note is if we're going to hold this 4-hour moving average right here, exactly where we are right now, so roughly about 1930, and if we can't hold that, then going to this 6-hour chart, I think the next big level is going to be right around about 1900, a little under that even, but ultimately everything is absolutely bullish for Ethereum as long as we hold above 1800. Now, if we break 1800, which is about $130, roughly about $100 from where we are right now, then things could get pretty bearish for Ethereum. But, again, we're so high above that at this moment. Basically, the very key thing to know is as long as we hold above 1800, we could be breaking and making a new all-time high within the next 24 hours, and it would not be very unusual. So again, just like we saw over the past few days, where we have these massive wicks to the upside every time we come to this bottom line of this rising wedge, same thing here on this top one. Okay, we've seen massive wicks to the upside every time we come up to here. And again, like I've been saying for the past few days, I think a true breakout for Ethereum is only going to be once we shatter this pattern. And again, usually this is a bearish pattern, but because of how fundamentally bullish the entire crypto space is right now, it is more likely, in my opinion, that we're actually going to break to the upside. But as we expected, something we've been saying for the last few days, when we come up to this level, we're probably not going to be shattering through it right away. We might have to take a few days to try and test it, or even get a rejection and come back down to the bottom here. Ideally, that would not be the best case scenario. Ideally, we actually hold above some of these shorter term moving averages like this level we're at right now, about 1930. Anywhere above 1900 is my guess there. So as long as we hold anywhere above 1900, again, I think we have a really good shot of breaking out of this pattern once and for all for Ethereum and breaking 2K and initiating that shot to 2500 over the next few days, and especially in this upcoming week. But we basically need to be holding where we are right now, and again, a little bit lower in some of those other targets we talked about. And guys, let's take a look here. Same exact thing here for basically Bitcoin and Ethereum as well. This EMA ribbon has been one of the most important lines of support in the short term. Chainlink had held it for about 3 days, not a single daily close below this first level EMA ribbon. And after we did that, we went on to set a new all-time high. You see a little bit of a pullback now. We're about $2 below the all-time high now at this point. And actually, some of these top alts, like ADA, actually are still pumping. So on this daily chart, ADA, for the exact same thing, like we said, not a single daily close below the first level of this EMA ribbon, just like we see with Link, just like we see with Ethereum, and just like we see with Bitcoin as well. So again, this EMA ribbon has been very important just for kind of getting an idea of if the price action is healthy in the short term for some of these coins. And ADA 100% has been very, 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 very bullish. Just basically massive green candle galore, many massive green candles over and over. And I think Cardano is going to continue to pump here, looking very good. And something about Cardano is the community is very strong right now. There's been a lot of talk and a lot of hype building around Cardano. And it's a coin that I'm personally expecting to continue to go higher here as well. And guys, once we usually break this mid deviation line here of this logarithmic growth curve, so basically this middle orange line, we have the top, we have the middle, and then we have the bottom. Usually when we break this middle one, there's often a pullback, which we've already received. In the past, the same exact things happened, and then we kind of just blast up straight to the top of it very shortly after. That's what we've seen in the past. And just looking on this chart, I think it becomes very likely by maybe very late March, even early April, for Bitcoin to be above 100,000 US dollars. And that's where the next big question for Bitcoin's price comes in, because everybody's basically expecting Bitcoin to hit $100,000 at some point this year, probably sooner than later, probably in the first half of this year, maybe even still the first quarter of 2021. So it could come very fast. But the really big question that nobody has the answer to, that everyone is wondering about, is will this cycle be more similar to back in 2013 or to 2017? Because what happened in 2017, it pretty much just, there were some pullbacks, but it basically just went straight and blasted up. And then when it ended its bull run, it just kind of went straight down. Now, the cycle before that, Bitcoin went straight, blasted up. It had a somewhat more healthy pullback, prolonged but healthy. And then what did it do? It actually had another straight blast up. So basically, 2013 had two major blast zones. 2017 really only had one major blast zone. So the question that is on the table now, and again, I actually covered this maybe about a month ago about my opinion on this. My opinion was that two major blast zones this cycle makes more sense to me because of how much fundamental news, how everything's just shaping up, how it's still so early in the cycle, and how I just find it very hard for Bitcoin not to be very bullish, even if we get to a very high point here. Ultimately, based on this chart, it looks very much more likely than not that Bitcoin will be seeing 6 digits within the next month and a half, dare I say it. That's my personal prediction. I personally think that Bitcoin will see 6 digits within the next month and a half. Doesn't sound that crazy now, considering we're already above 57,000 US dollars for Bitcoin. But if you would have said that a month ago, people would have said, well, what are you talking about? We're only at 30,000. But yeah, things happen very fast. Bitcoin explodes very fast, and lots of explosions to come. If we go to this chart as well, the 1 year plus hodl wave, guys, this is something we've been covering periodically over the past few months. But yeah, we're in full effect now. When you see this hodl wave start curving down and the price start exploding, you know you're in the middle of it, and we're absolutely in the middle of it. You can see the same things happen in previous cycles, and I believe maybe we're 30 to 40% through this bull cycle at this point in terms of Bitcoin's price. I think alts have a lot of room to gain, and trying to time that is a little more difficult. But ultimately, I think Bitcoin is maybe 30 to 40% through its first real blast off. And again, that kind of changes a little bit if we actually factor in what I just talked about two major blast offs, because again, that changes things up a little bit. But Bitcoin's looking very, very good. We're starting to see these curvatures that we would expect based on these hodl waves, which really just measure the ages of how long Bitcoin has, or since Bitcoin has moved from wallet to wallet. So it's just an on-chain data metric that correlates very nicely to tops and bottoms of cycles. And I personally think we're in a really good spot. People ask me all the time, what's your exit strategy? At this point, again, not something I'm super concerned with sharing because I don't think we're quite near the top. So not something I'm super concerned with sharing yet. When we get to that point, it'll be something I'm going to be talking about every single day. But at this point, I don't really find it worthwhile because I don't think it is really anywhere close. But wow, we do have a special giveaway. We're going to be giving away 25 Link to celebrate 100,000 subscribers on YouTube. So yeah, the faster we get there, the faster we'll do the giveaway, but it is going to be 25 Chainlink. So yeah, all you have to do to enter is make sure you're subscribed and leave a comment below. Yeah, and the quicker we get there, then the quicker we will do the giveaway. As soon as we hit 100K, then that will be the video that we announce the winner of 25 Chainlink. Yeah, very, very big stuff. But as well, guys, if you're new to the channel, make sure to hit that like, subscribe, turn on those post notifications so you don't miss these time-sensitive critical alerts. And if you're interested in trading, either on Bybit or Femex, make sure to use our deposit bonuses below, up to an additional $600 on Femex. Again, only if you have experience, only from us with the channel, and never trade more than you're willing to lose. That'll do for now. Bye-bye!